Welcome to SiGMA TV. I'm so thrilled to be joined by Christophe Berger from Conventions Malta. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for the invitation.
You are so welcome, and I'm so excited to be talking about events and about obviously the impact of the last 12 months, but looking at the future. And of course, we're sitting here talking, having an interview, we're wearing face masks. Yeah. And my first question is really, looking at the impact of what has happened over the last 10 months, because this has been a difficult time. It's been an incredibly difficult time for tourism. And then so many people have now merged onto an online platform to be able to communicate. We have the pleasure of meeting in person today, but meetings are, being held by Zoom. Ourselves held our last expo online, virtual expo, which was incredibly successful. So my first question to you would be, we're looking to the future, but are we going to get back to where we were in 2019? Are we going to be meeting in face-to-face? Or is this online community and online conventions, online conferences going to be the way forward forever?
So that's a very good question. It is something that everyone is trying to see the different scenarios and how we're going to, as a MICE industry, going to recover. Ultimately, I think we're going to have a mix of virtual, hybrid, and face-to-face live event. I think the overall experience on virtual has been great. It helped, obviously, the industry to keep in touch and keep the relationship going with prospect and clients in general, and how to promote the destination. That, I think, as an adaptation of technology, it was very important, and the industry reacted in a very fast way.
Just to interject there, absolutely. The industry of online has exploded
completely,
and with it has obviously the providers have had to get up to speed. They've had, from what my discussions with them have been, have had a good year because everything is migrated onto online. We're shopping online, we're living online,
of course,
we're meeting online,
and you attract also a larger crowd as well to your event. Now, the missing part on the virtual is the overall experience. You cannot replace the experience of having face-to-face meetings, especially when you look at events where you have a relationship between the supplier and the seller and the buyers. So that is something unique that you cannot replace online. And I think business has missed that part of connecting and the engagement that you can have with networking events, with going to different educational sessions, to move around the actual exhibition. So I think trade events will definitely go for more live event, as long as there's a proper protocol and as long as you have all the safety measures in place. And I think once people are safe to go back to face, then it will remain, probably with a bit of an hybrid level of, different community attending online, but it will be a face-to-face back again.
So essentially, we're talking about a road to recovery, a road back into what we knew as normality. And you mentioned right at the very beginning there, that transition period where there's going to be a hybrid between some people still wanting to play it safe and meet virtually, whereas other people eager to meet in person, to have that greet, that connection in person. So what does a recovery plan look like? When we're talking, it's a very difficult question because at the moment, of course, we've got looking at the vaccines just starting to be rolled out. And the vaccine, of course, is the thing that's going to change everything for us, or so it would seem. And I believe that there's going to have to also be some acceptance of a long-term change of behavior from what we had, let's say 12 or 14 months ago. But what does a recovery plan look like for Malta and globally?
I think the recovery plan has to take the one factor which is very important is the air connectivity. Now, Malta was pre-COVID a Mediterranean hub with 125 different destinations on a point-to-point access. And I think we need to restore that. We need to look at how it is possible for airlines to plan again for, to have direct flight to Malta. And I think that is crucial for an island. In order to recover, we need to have, again, the same connectivity we used to have in 2019. Then from that onwards, we need to rethink as well our recovery. We need to rethink our business model. We need to rethink how attractive we are. And I think we are very attractive as an island, as the different scenario on post-COVID. We are going to definitely be successful. It will depend on one thing as well, the competition that we're facing all around us. So we need to give a better value, a better service. We need to look at different kind of quality on the way we are giving an experience to the tourism and the visitors that are coming. Now on M.I.C.E, I have no worries about how we can adapt and how our hotels, our stakeholders will be definitely up to the game. And a certain amount of training has been going on for COVID, but that we will speak at a later stage on the benefit of that period. A lot of training has been going on as well. So that is an investment for the future, for the workforce to be able to deliver a better quality when it comes to hospitality and M.I.C.E in general.
See, now you're teasing me because you're saying to me that about this training. Are we talking about training that's been taking place during this COVID period?
Completely.
So you guys have not been sitting there and just looking at what's happening and adapting to what's happening, but being proactive in preparing yourself for what's coming. How does that look? What's happening with that?
So the Malta Tourism Authority worked on an e-learning scheme with the Ministry of Tourism, and we had 32 different training partners delivering online course to the workforce in hospitality and tourism. So we've trained over 8,000 people during the time of COVID. So that started around May. And
around May?
May, yes. So
wow,
that's how reactive it was.
Exactly.
So it was towards the end of May. And it's been a tremendous success with over 8,000 people, participants. And this is an investment for a better service, a better quality, a brush on your knowledge in general, and you had also an opportunity to choose different subject of what you're not accustomed to. So it's definitely a huge investment, which in the next 2-3 years we should see the fruit out of it.
And this is what I've been loving when I've been talking to people through this series and other interviews. There are some people who have taken advantage of what has happened over the last 10 months, which was unprecedented. None of us could see this coming. If we'd been sitting here having this conversation a year ago and said, this is what 2020 is going to look like, we would probably have laughed and said, no, there's no way that could happen. But of course, it has. But there are people like yourselves and bodies like yourselves who have taken advantage of this and are preparing themselves for what's going to, for seeing our way out of
even
this COVID situation.
In terms of organization of work, teleworking has been also an immediate response of how we can adapt to the situation. And that has been also very successful because it gives you more flexibility. It gives you more, a different way of organizing yourself. As long as the team is kind of connected together, I think things can work. And teleworking was great in that respect.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm curious, and I've asked quite a number of people about this, and it kind of relates to the first question. But truly, and you mentioned this hybrid, but truly, do you see that we will return to 2019, let's say 2 or 3 years' time? And we'll say, oh, do you remember that 2020 that was, or do you see that we have taken things from this experience that will be with us forever?
I think it will be like that. Like as you're saying, it's going to be a long time before we can recover, but it will always be a pre and post sort of COVID timeline. And I think we've learned a lot from it in the way we work and in the way that we are protecting ourselves. I think we cannot take for granted the level of tourism that we had before. And it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a positive change for the next years. And I think we're all equal in the way that all destinations are starting from scratch. and it gives an opportunity to rethink of our new, model and what tourists or what visitors and what MICE business do we want. So it's a unique opportunity for change.
And it's interesting you saying that we're all starting from scratch. I mean, and that we're all on a level playing field. So can you share with us the strategy for Malta for the future? Are there going to be areas that are focused for development?
So there's going to be a new vision, a new national tourism policy for 2021 up to 2030. Now this has a 10-year scope, and it's a strategy that has to be shared by cabinet, and then it will go on consultation with stakeholders and the public. So this is something that people are going to get to know within the next 2 months. It's a strategy that takes a lot of different dimensions between European members, the sustainability development goals from the United Nations. You have the different European frameworks of data and climate change and green agreement. So all that is going to be taken into a strategy. I think we are going to look at quality, expenditure for the economy of Malta, and make sure that we expand on our seasonality. We are going to look at different niches as well. We are definitely looking at European, but also long haul. We get a lot of long haul interest right now from the US, from South America, and from Australia. So these are all things that we are putting together into the strategy. Obviously, one has to realize that we have, starting from scratch, we have probably an oversupply of bed capacity compared to the demand, and that's going to take time in order to recover and be for the stakeholders to be profitable again.
And of course, Malta has the perfect advantage that whilst we're incredibly hot in the summer here in Malta, and if you love the sun, it's a great place to be, but there are opportunities in the other months, the shoulder months as well. And I'm assuming that also relates to business opportunities, conventions and conferences to take place in times of the year that maybe people aren't necessarily thinking about their summer holidays.
Yes, winter was always a great time for MICE business to come over, being a conference, being a simple meetings or being incentive travel. Our winter months became very busy at the end of the day. I mean, if you look at 10 years ago, the winter months were different to pre-COVID 2018 and 2019. So we were very successful as well on filling up the winter time. And I think there will be even more opportunity to develop different niches like luxury travel, religious tourism, sports tourism. We can look at health tourism and discovery in general, because we have so much to offer in terms of heritage, in terms of culture, that there's no reason why Malta shouldn't be successful.
Well, coming back to a point we raised earlier, and my last question to you, SiGMA, we've had an incredible year. We are one of the entities that moved online as well. And as I mentioned, in just a month ago or so, we had our virtual expo, which was fantastically successful and exciting. But we are looking forward to April now, where we will be able to meet everybody in person. And as you mentioned, there really isn't anything that can replace that. How important are events like SiGMA to the Maltese Islands? Is this going to be an area of focus as well, to be driving business and conferencing? How important is it to the economy?
Crucial to the economy. When you come to a conference in Malta, you would have your booking at the hotel, transportation, restaurants. You'd have all the different services that the supply chain can offer on location. So having face-to-face live event is crucial for a destination like us. And SiGMA Europe will be attracting a large amount of people. So this is an event that needs to carry on year and build success on for the future. So I would say face-to-face events are crucial for the economy to recover.
Brilliant. Well, I love hearing you so positive about the future. And again, congratulations and respect to you over at MTA and Conventions Malta for taking the opportunity, whilst a lot of us are sort of worried about what's happening right now, but having a focus for the future and being able to reassess and move forward with that vision. Thank you so much, Christophe, for your time today.
Thank you, Trudy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. Christophe Berger from Conventions Malta from the Executive Interview Series.